Hey, what's up guys? Today we're going to be making a simple gallery app using JavaScript, and we're going to have a main picture showing here and then 6 smaller images at the bottom. And then once we click on each picture, so for example this one, this main picture is always going to change depending on which picture we click here. And also we're going to have a background behind it that we can also change later on if you guys want to do that. But for our simple example, we're just going to have these images changing to this main image. So going back here, I have my index.html with just a basic HTML template, style.css, which is completely empty, and main.js, which is empty as well. And then I have this image folder with 7 pictures, and these are going to be linked in the description if you guys want to use the same pictures I'm using. So starting with our HTML, we're not going to have many things here. The first thing we're going to add is a div with a class of container. And that div is going to hold this main picture and these 6 pictures at the bottom. So we're going to add a div with a class of main image, which is going to be the top picture that's going to be changing. And then under that, we're going to add a div with a class of all images wrap. And this div is going to hold all these 6 pictures. You guys can add as many pictures as you want, but we have 6 for this example. And then also we're going to need this overlay that's covering the picture. So this black overlay here. So before the container, here we can just add a div with a class of overlay. And that's going to be all the HTML we're going to have for this app. Let's go here since I have it opened with live server already. Then the next thing we want to do is link our JavaScript here. So we can do script source and then main.js. And I already have my CSS file linked here. So you guys need to link your CSS here as well if you don't have it already. Then we can jump to our CSS, and the first thing we want to do, we're going to target all the elements. We're going to add box sizing of border box. We're going to remove margin and padding, so margin 0 and padding 0. Then we can target our body. We're going to make it width 100% and min height of 100 VH, so full width and height. Then we're going to add a background. We're going to add URL. And we have an image folder, so we're going to do ./image, nature1. We're also going to add no repeat, center /cover. So that's our first image that's always going to be showing. If you guys want to pick something different, you can just change this number because we have 7 of these. So maybe we can do 5 for this example. We're going to make this position relative. We're going to add overflow of hidden. And we're also going to add a display of flags just so we can center our container easily on the page once we make it here. Then we have our container. We're going to add margin auto. We're going to have width of 100%. And we're also going to add a max width of 600 pixels. We're going to make this position relative because overlay is going to be on top of this container that holds everything, so we need to make container position relative so it's on top of it. And we're going to add some box shadow, which is going to be 0, 0, 5 pixels and white. So that's going to be our container here. Then we can target container again, and then we have a div with class of main image. So this is the top picture right here. So dot main image. We're going to make it 100% in width. And we're going to add a height of 300 pixels for that. So now you can see that. Then we want to target the same thing. So container main image div and then image inside that div, since that's going to contain a first image. We're going to make it 100% in width, height of 100% for the picture. We're going to add a display of block. And we're going to add object fit of cover. So now we currently didn't add images, but we're going to add all of them through JavaScript. Then under that we have container, and then the other div we have, which is all images wrap. So all images wrap. And this div contains all the 6 pictures we're going to have. We're also going to make that 100%. We're going to add a height of 340 pixels. We're going to add display flex. And we also need to wrap pictures because they're going to be 6 pictures in a row. So we're going to add flex wrap of wrap just to wrap them under each other. Then we want to target the same thing, so container all images wrap, and then we want to target image that's going to be inside of that div. We're going to add a width of 200 pixels for each picture, height auto, display of block, and we're also going to add object fit of cover. And for these pictures, we're going to have a cursor of pointer as well once we hover over them here. And then for our overlay, let's add it before the container, same way we have it here. So be consistent. So we're going to add overlay. This is going to be position absolute. We're going to have top 0, right 0, bottom 0, and left 0 as well. We're going to add a background. That's going to be RGBA, and we're going to have 0, 0, 0, and the last one is going to be 0.7. So that's all the CSS there we're going to add. Then we can switch to our main JS to add pictures here. So we want to select all three of these divs. We want to select all images, we want to select main image, and we want to select container in our JS. So we can do const all images wrap. To make this a bit bigger as well. It's going to be equal to document.querySelector, and it has a class of all images wrap. Then we can add a comma here. We're going to add another variable that's going to be main image. That's going to be equal to document.querySelector, and it has a class of main image. And then the last thing we want to target here is our container, which is going to be document.querySelector, and it has a class of container, so .container. Then under that, the first thing we want to do is apply any image to this div. So this div is this one right here that's going to hold the first picture, and it's always going to be changing when we click on these. So that div has a class of main image, and we made variable for that. And then here we're going to add main image .inner HTML, and that's going to be equal to image, which is going to have a source, and we can add alt as well. That's going to be nature. And then for the source, we have an image folder, and then inside of that folder we have nature1.jpg. So these pictures right here, we have nature1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So depending on which picture you want to show at the beginning, we can do 6, for example. We can do 4, whichever one you prefer. Then under that main image div, we're going to make an array. So we can call it all images. So that's going to be an array containing all the pictures we have. So since we're going to display, let's display number 1 here for now, just to keep it consistent, since we have pictures from 1 to 7. And then we can just copy this right here alongside with the string. And we can make this an array into a new line. And we're just going to paste this. So we're going to start from nature2 picture. Then we can add a comma and copy this a few more times. Then we're going to have nature2, nature3, nature4, 5, 6, and 7. So these are all other pictures I have inside a folder. Then we need either a for each or map to display them. So here we're going to use all images, which is that array. We can use for each. And then for each image, we want to output them right here. And we have a div that's all images wrap. So we can do all images wrap dot inner HTML plus equals. Then we're going to add a template literals here. We're going to add an image, source, and we're also going to have an alt here. That's going to be nature. And then for the source, we can remove these, and we're just going to add $, curly braces, and image here, since we're looping over pictures right here over this array. If we save that, now we have 6 pictures here. Make this a bit smaller. And then under that, we're going to target our container. We're going to add an event listener. That's going to be on click. We're going to pass an event here. And inside of that, we're going to check if our event.target dot tag name equals to image, so capital image, or all uppercase image rather. We can just console.log hello. So if we inspect the page now, go to console, and if we click on any of these pictures right here, we're going to get the console log. We clicked on any of them. So here as well, instead of console logging hello, we're going to target our main image, which is this one. This is what we want to change when we click on either one of these. So we're going to do main image dot inner HTML equals, and we're going to add template literals again. We're going to have an image with a source, and we're also going to have a note which can be main image. And then for the source, we can add $sign curly braces again, and we're going to use e.target.getAttribute, and we want to get the attribute which is source. And now if we click on the picture, that's going to change. We click on another picture, third picture, and they're all going to change. So how this works, if we console log this instead here, so we can do console log, and then let's console log this, just so you guys see what we're getting. So we're trying to get the source of the picture here, which with get attribute source. So if we click on this picture, we can see it's image/nature2, image/nature3, and then we're setting that attribute or that source to this picture right here. And that's all the JavaScript we're going to have in this file. We can remove this console log, and that already works perfectly fine. And the last thing I want to add here is, if we go back to our style, I want to add a single media query just to make this a bit responsive. So we're going to add media. We're going to have max width of 670 pixels. We're going to target our container first. We're going to have a max width of 94%. Then under that, we're going to have container again. And we're going to target all images wrap. We're going to add height of auto and overflow of hidden. And then here, we also want to add a container, all images wrap, and then image. And we're going to add a width of 50%. And then here we can also target body. For container, we're just going to add a bit of padding to the body on lower screens. So we're just going to add padding of 30 pixels for top and bottom and 0 for left and right. So now if we resize here, now you see they have space on the side and they're 50% each. So we're displaying 2 pictures instead of 3 or 4. So here we're displaying 3, and then here we're displaying 2. And then everything works. If we click on pictures, we can change as much as we want. If you guys want to change the initial picture here, you can just come here to our JavaScript. So this is the one. And since they all have the same name, you can just change this to like nature 4, nature 3, 2. Doesn't matter what you pick. We have 7 pictures here. So everything's going to work. And then you can change one of these. If you change this picture, you can add nature 1 here, for example. So that would be it for this final project. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.